Hey guys, and welcome to live stream. It is good to finally get back to doing this today. We were going to do it the other day, but the president sort of interrupted us. So anyway, and who knows, it may happen again today, but I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you are all healthy. I hope you're self-quarantining and social distancing. I hope it's working for you. I know that even in my job, producing records, writing songs, doing everything else that I do, this is kind of the normal for me. So it's not. I'm usually holed up in either here in this studio or in my other studio or my office, and I'm normally by myself a lot. So this hasn't really affected me the way that I know that it has affected a lot of other people. But I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you aren't going stir crazy yet. I know today. Not the topic we're going to talk about, but I know today that a lot of the movie studios have released a lot of movies that were out at the theaters are available for you to rent and or buy today. So you might want to check out your digital streaming services. A lot of new stuff going to be out to watch. So, and I appreciate you being here and watching this. It is Tuesday. New episode of the podcast came out today as well. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go to anywhere and everywhere you get your podcast and search for the Steve Freeman podcast, and you'll find it. New episode out today. Check that out. What I wanted to talk about today was live streaming. When all of this really started to hit and happen last week, I had several friends, artists, songwriters contact me. They're like, Steve, we know you know a lot about this. Can you help us? Can you walk us through how to set this thing up? And it really got me thinking. And I've been preaching and talking about live streaming, especially with artists, for a long time, because I think that it is a tremendous way for you to monetize your music and your career. I hear from so many different artists, it's tough booking shows and it's hard to do. You don't have to do all that to make money and have a successful career. There are artists all over the country right now making six figures doing nothing but live streams, setting up tip jars and connecting and growing their relationship and engaging their fans online through live streaming. So, I'm one of these people, and I said it in today's episode of the podcast, that none of us like what we're going through right now, what's happening and what's going on. It's frustrating. We've never seen anything like this in most of our lifetimes. Hopefully we never see it again, but we can look at this as a huge negative, or we can look at this as a positive and go, okay, everything is shut down. Nobody's doing concerts. Especially if you're in the music business, you're an artist, you're a songwriter. You need to be thinking of this, that for once, the playing field is being leveled. Nobody's out touring. Nobody can book shows. Nobody. So you have just as much of an opportunity to captivate existing fans and recruit new fans as anybody else out there. Sure, when Keith Urban goes live, he's got millions of Facebook fans. You're not going to be able to compete on that level, but Keith Urban is not live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Neither is Garth Brooks or Blake Shelton or any of these other artists. You can start to set a foothold and start making your footprint right now. Don't look at this as just such a negative opportunity. Look at it as a positive opportunity for you to expand your career, to do something that you're not currently doing, get familiar with something new, and that is live streaming. Now, there are many different forms and factors of live streaming. There's many different quality levels. As you're watching my live stream right now, I'm not using $50 webcam. I will walk you through my system and my setup, and I will tell you everything that I've got. But I want to also do the basics. I want to walk you through some different options that you have to start doing this, because the most important thing for you to do is start doing it, and start doing it right now. As we go through this, if you have any questions, feel free, type them in the comment section of wherever you're watching. We're live on my personal Facebook channel, so hello to all you people on Facebook. We're live on my artist page on Facebook. We're also live on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and somewhere else. I don't know where, everywhere. So we're live on every social media platform. That's how important it was that I wanted to do this. that I want to make sure that we're everywhere so that no matter what your platform of choice is, that you're able to see this and engage with it today. Okay. I also want to say this is not just for music business people. This is not just for artists. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a small business owner of any kind, if you have a product or a service, now is the time for you to start becoming very familiar and comfortable with live streaming. With what's going on with the coronavirus and us all being quarantined to our homes, pretty much, thank God Starbucks, the drive-thru, is still open. Otherwise, y'all would be dealing with a very different individual right now. But it doesn't matter about what business you're in. This right here is going to be how things are sold and how services are communicated and rendered in the next 5 years. So the more comfortable you get with it right now, and if you take this opportunity with what we're going through and you get comfortable with it, you learn the technology, you learn the software, you learn how to do it, you learn how to apply it to your business, you're going to increase your customer base, you're going to increase your audience, you're going to increase your reach. So I hope that you guys enjoy what we're going to get into today. Raw and Uncut Podcast, I see you're here. Johnny Freeman, thank you for being here. Jessica Sylvester, thank you for being here. Monier Love, if I said that wrong, I'm sorry. He or she is watching on Facebook. Thank you so much. Like I said, be sure put your comments and or questions as we go through this, and I will try to get to them just as fast as humanly possible. So if you have one, let me know, and I will try to get to it just as soon as humanly possible. We can pop them right up there just like that, and I can show them. So what I want to talk about and what I really want to get started with is the basics. Okay. Number one, you have to start, and you have to start now. The thing that I hear from most people, business owners, artists, is the uncomfortableness of being live. Now, I have a little bit of a leg up on most people. I started many years ago in the radio business. So I'm very comfortable doing this. Here's the strange thing about me. I can be up on a stage and perform in front of thousands and thousands of people, and it doesn't bother me a bit. You take me off of that stage and put me down in the middle of those thousands, and then we've got a problem. This social distancing is not an issue for me. I live my life socially distant. So I know that for a lot of you, this may be uncomfortable. You're going to have to get past that. You're going to have to get past the uncomfortableness of connecting and going live. It's not always going to go perfect. It's not always going to work. Everything's not always going to work. Guys, my setup right here, and I'm embarrassed to say this, and I don't say this to brag, but my setup here is probably about $20,000. Okay, you don't have to have that, but let me tell you something. Something goes wrong every single time. Every time. It's not always going to work. It's not always going to work perfectly. So, but that's life, right? That's life. That's business. Not everything always works. The important thing is that you persist. I tell people through my artist development programs, the most important thing in step one that you can do is be persistent, consistent, and have a willingness to sacrifice. And in this case, it's the sacrifice may come in the form of doing something that you're uncomfortable with, that you're unfamiliar with, learning a new task, learning a new trade, learning the fundamentals of a changing business and a changing economy and the way that we do business with one another. That may be your sacrifice. But once you start, don't stop, because I can promise you this is the way of the future. It's really right now, it's the way of now. And it's really coming to the forefront now that we're all locked in our houses and we can't go anywhere. The movie theaters are closed. The stores are closed. Everywhere's closed. Take this as an opportunity to learn this and learn it really well. So I want to start with topic area number one. When I say start right now, that means most of you, I would imagine that almost all of you, everybody watching right now, has a smartphone. Something like this right here. I have the iPhone, the newest iPhone, the big one with all the cameras and all that. I forgot what it is. You can go live from this device with no issues, no problems whatsoever. You can go live on Facebook. You can go live on Instagram. You can go live on Snapchat, on TikTok, on YouTube. Any platform that allows live streaming, you can go live with this right here. This is all you need. Now, if we want to start at this level, let me tell you what's going to be a standard throughout all of these steps that I'm going to walk you through. Quality. Quality is everything. And even though it's live streaming and it's video, the analytics and the numbers show that audio quality is actually more important to people than video quality. Now, both happen to be important to me. I make my living in the music business, so audio is obviously very important to me. But video is just as important to me, high quality. But the overwhelming majority of numbers of people will tune out of a live stream for poor audio quality more often than they will poor video quality. So remember that. These new phones, whether you're using the iPhone or any of the Android devices or any of them, they're all capable now. They've all got 4K cameras, and most of the platforms will only allow you to stream in HD anyway. So you're talking 720p, 1080p. Most of them will not allow you to stream 4K. Matter of fact, I don't know that if any of them will. If any of them do, YouTube might. But you also have to have a very strong internet connection to be able to do that. And you don't need it. Let's just face it. Most people are watching on this right here. And even though it's 4K compatible, nothing's 4K when you're watching it on your screen. Maybe HD, 1080p, Ultra HD. But don't let all of that confuse you. The main thing is to get started here. So the only other piece of equipment that I would recommend if you want to start using your cell phone to live stream is get yourself a tripod that will hold your phone so that you're not doing this number here. You're not constantly trying to hold it. Also, that's the other thing. When you're streaming on platforms like Facebook and YouTube, anywhere but Instagram stories or something like that, you always want to hold your phone in this mode, sideways. What is it? Landscape or portrait? Somebody type it. I think it's landscape. You want to hold your phone. Don't stream on YouTube like this, okay? This way. Facebook, all these other. This way. It's all about aspect ratio. If you're on Instagram stories and you're going live on Instagram, the format is automatically 1080 by 1920, which means that it's this way, right? I'm trying to make this as extremely simple as I can without getting technical. I'm a technical junkie, so I really get off on all the specifics of this stuff. So I'm trying to use simple terms here. Okay, so always you want your phone to be like that. Okay, so get you a tripod that will hold your phone just like that when you live stream. Now, also remember, it is always more important when you are streaming, when you are filming, when you're doing anything, when possible, and when you've got a tripod, this is possible, you want to use the cameras on the back of the phone. The camera on the front of the phone, for the most part, is crap. Even on this $1,200 phone, it's not that great. You want to stream with the camera on the back of your phone. Now I can hear some of you going, Steve, wait a minute, but then I can't see people's comments. Okay, you need more than one. To do this right, you need more than one device. Okay, so if you've got an iPad or you've got a computer or you've got something else, use your phone to stream, get the other one, pull it up, just like I've got it here, and then you can read everybody's comments that they're saying, but that doesn't take away from the quality of your stream. Plus, that allows you to set this anywhere you want to set it. Okay, and you don't have to have it so close right here that you can read the comments. Now, audio. That will get you taken care of fine. Audio. The audio that are on these newer phones is really good when you are right here. When you are in a room that probably most of you do not have a room that is sound treated like this room. So you're going to be in your living room or you're going to be in front of your computer. You're going to be somewhere. You're not going to have all of the acoustic paneling and the foam and all that stuff, okay? You're not going to have that. So setting this phone up 3, 4, 5 feet away to get the right picture, your audio is not going to be that great. Now, if that's all you have, do it. That's, again, the point. Step one, start doing it. If that's all you've got, do it. If you've got the new AirPods or any kind of long extension cord with your headphones that have a microphone built in, your audio is automatically going to be better. A lot better. Where is it? And now I've lost it. No, I haven't either. It's right here. I've got to unplug it. I'm going to show you something else you can use to that this is brilliant to even use with your iPads or with your iPhones. Anything with a lightning connector. Rode is one of my favorite companies on the face of the planet. I have 2 of their Rodecaster Pros. I have a ton of, I use my favorite vocal microphone for most major records that I produce. I do vocals on a Rode Classic that they did, Adele did Roll It in the Deep on. So I love Rode. Rode makes this product. Let's see if this will zoom in and you can see it. Maybe not, because I don't think I have it set to do that. Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe a little bit. Maybe, can you guys see that? That is a Rode SC6-L. Now, what this does, you can see the lightning connector right there. What that does is this will plug directly into the bottom of your iPhone. On the other side of this, it has 2 inputs and 1 output. It has a headphone jack to where you can monitor what's going on, but then it also has the 3.5 millimeter or the headphone jack, as people call it, headphone input, to where you can actually plug a different microphone into this thing, or a mixer, or anything that has an audio output. So if you've got a little mixer over there and you want to come audio, that reverb, you can have all of that, all your mic plugged into that. Then that will plug into reverb. You can have all of that, all your mic plugged into that. Then that will plug into, this is 2-channel. So you can have maybe one, if you want to do it really simple, you can have your microphone in one side and your guitar in the other, or a piano in the other. So this is basically a small audio interface for your iPhone. So whenever you go live, the audio that's going into that phone is the only audio is what you've plugged into this. So it can be your microphone, it can be a guitar, it can be a mixer, it can be anything you want it to be. That makes your audio sound absolutely amazing. So you can even go and get you a very cheap 2-channel, 3-channel, 4-channel mixer. Even if you had a whole band and you had a 12-channel mixer, everybody could be going into that mixer. You could get your sound just like you would in your monitoring system. Then you can come line out of that mixer straight into this device and have the audio come through to people who are watching on your live stream sound just like they were at a concert. Seriously, it sounds amazing. There are lots of little things like this. I think iRig makes one that you can do this with as well. There are a lot of little tips and tricks. We're going to get into some of the equipment. We're going to talk about some of the equipment. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you how much it costs. We're going to get into all that. So I'm not losing anybody, am I? Is everybody still here? Everybody still rocking to go? Good. Let's see who Ismail, I see you in here as well, man. Okay, so now let's talk about, okay, Steve, I want to go a little bit further. I want to do a little bit more. I want to have a little bit higher quality. What can I do? All right, let's run through some equipment real quick that you can use. And I've got this set up. Like I'm telling you, nothing always ever works perfectly the first time. All right, so here's what I want to show you. This right here is a Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920. This is where a lot of people that want to go one step up above a cell phone, this is where you can usually start. And these cost, where's the price on this thing? It is not $289. They're not that much. I think you can pick them up on Amazon, some, $140, $150. Some places even $100 you can get these C920s. This gives you an HD 1080p. This is a normal webcam, USB. It's going to plug into a Mac or a Windows PC, and boom, it's automatically going to download the drivers, and it's going to pop right up, okay? So you can use this, because let me tell you guys, the cameras that come on, I've got an iMac right back there. The camera on it is crap. Any built-in camera on any computer, whether it's your laptop or whatever, they are not good for this. You are not going to get the kind of video quality that you want. I promise you're not. So this is the kind of the route that you want to go. Logitech makes several. We're going to take a look at 2 at both ends of the spectrum. This is the C920. This is a good buy. It's a good camera. It's going to get you through for a long time, depending on what it is that you want to do. Now, you do not want to use the microphone that is built into this camera, because it's horrible. The built-in mic on your computer is horrible. So we don't want to do that. So Steve, what do we do? All right, so now we're going to take a look at a USB microphone. So now you would have a USB camera and a USB microphone. You can tell whatever software, we're going to talk about in a little bit, you can tell whatever software that you want to use to choose your C920 as your video camera and choose the Rode NT USB condenser microphone as your audio, as your microphone input. Even on Facebook, if you're just using Facebook Live, when you go to that screen to set up your live and you choose camera, right? It pops up the little thing over there on the side, and it will ask you, what do you want Facebook to use as your camera? What do you want Facebook to use as your audio input? You simply choose the C920 for your camera and the Rode NT USB microphone as your audio input. That's going to give you great quality audio. It's going to give you great quality video. You put those two things together, and you've got great quality. There are a lot of other options out there. Like I said, I'm a big Rode fan. I have several of their products. They also make another USB microphone that's great. There are a lot of other companies out there. I think Deity is making a really good quality USB microphone. Several of the, I'm sure Sennheiser has one. Everybody's got them. Just make sure that you go with a good one, because why try to increase and have a great quality audio and get a lesser quality microphone? And even this, what is it, $169? And it will last you a lifetime. It'll last you as long as you want to stream. Many of the gamers that people say, oh man, it sounds so great, they are using the Rode NT USB. So just make sure you get a good quality USB microphone, and then you can go back over here and you can look at the Logitech C920. For a webcam. Now, let's say, Steve, okay, I want even better quality than that, but I still want to do a webcam. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is, and I actually have one of these. I don't use it. I used to use it when I was in my old studio, when we used to do the Steve Freeman live show every Monday night. I had multiple camera angles, and I used these as the other angles besides my main camera. And this is the Logitech Brio. It's Ultra HD. They have these in 4K as well. Very good quality. Again, most platforms will not allow you to stream 4K, but if you get a 4K a camera that is capable of 4K, it will down sample and downscale that 4K signal to a 1080p or 720p output that does with the platforms that do Facebook, YouTube, all the other ones. This is a really good choice. It is a really, really, really good camera. So I would highly suggest checking out this. It is the Logitech Brio. These are a little bit more expensive. I know these are over $200. I might have even paid, I don't remember how much I paid for it. It was not cheap. It's a lot cheaper than my setup now, but it's still great quality. Again, don't use the microphone built in with this. You want to go back and look at your Rode NT USB condenser microphone, okay? So are you going to have to, if you want a higher quality, are you going to have to invest a little cash into this thing? Yes, you are. But I promise you, you do this right, it's all going to come back to you. Every penny plus 1,000-fold will come back to you. So far, everything that we've talked about is going to give you a really good looking and really good sounding live stream. Okay, now let's say, okay, Steve, I want to go even bigger than that. I want to go even more quality than that. And do I have it? Oh, I've got it over there. I tell you what. Hold on just a second, and let me grab. I've got two different ones. I'm going to show you both because I want you to be able to see the different kind of levels. Hold on. Also, when you're learning to live stream, and this is not a hashtag ad, you've got to have a comfortable chair. And Secret Labs, by far, makes the most comfortable chairs. I don't know if you can see, but I've got one of those really expensive ergonomic, the ones with the holes in it. That's the one that I set at my studio when I'm working on producing records. That thing makes my back hurt all the time. And when I got into gaming, I was like, okay, I started researching the gaming chairs. And I was like, okay, which one really seems like it would be the best? And everybody was talking about Secret Lab. I bought one, fell in love with it, started working every day, whether I'm editing videos or whatever. And I noticed that my back completely stopped hurting. So I immediately bought 4 more of them. And now I need to buy another one to replace that one. But again, very important. If you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing it for any length of time. It is important to be comfortable. So you may want to look into something like Secret Lab. And I always turn it around because it's uncomfortable for me. But they make these cool little pillows that slip right over. So if you don't wear hats every day like me, they just do like that and it gives you a nice little cushion. I don't use it. But very important nevertheless. I was going to forget about that. Very, very important. All right, here's what I want to talk with you about. You want to go one step further. You want to go above the webcam and above the USB microphone. All right, what do you want to do? Here's what I do. I'm using a different camera today because I wanted to be able to show this one. And I've been using it. What I use most of the time is this right here. I could, of course, take this out because I'm not using it right now. This is what I use most of the time. Now, I'm going to preface this and tell you guys, this is overkill, okay? This is way, way, way overkill, and you do not need to go this far at all. What this is a Sony A7 III. It's a 4K full frame camera. The lens on here is a Sony G Master 24 to 70 millimeter lens. This is a great camera for everything. This is the camera that we shoot most of the stuff for the Artist Development Academy with. I have shot with this camera right here and this lens. I've shot music videos that have millions and millions and millions and millions of views. So for those of you that are maybe wanting to do a little bit more, again, we're stepping outside the range of the music business. We're talking about regular business. If you're a business owner and you want high quality social media content to put out there, this is something like this is what you need. I use this a lot for live streaming. I was using it for something else, so I have another camera set up that was my live stream setup for forever. And I'll walk you through exactly what's up there. But to be honest, I mean, this is about a $5,000 setup. So you don't want to go this route just for live streaming, in all honesty. Just the lens itself is like $2,500. But I always tell people to get more than what you think you need. Because if you really do want to take your business seriously, you want to constantly evolve and you want to be able to have the ability. One of the reasons people ask me all the time, this is a total side note. People ask me all the time, Steve, how do you do all this? You know, and the answer is that I never wanted to put myself in a position to where I relied on somebody else, to where when I had my record label, we had to pay $60,000 to shoot music videos, or, you know, I wanted to learn how to do it myself so that I didn't have to spend that money. And I will throw this out there and tell you that one of the quickest way to build wealth is to not spend your money. It is to learn how to do things yourself. Remember earlier I was talking about persistence, consistency, and a willingness to sacrifice. Be willing to sacrifice your time to learn how to do things yourself instead of just paying somebody else to do them. And tools, these are tools. Using tools like this are extremely important. So if you do want to invest in something like this, you can live stream with it. You can film commercials with it. You can film social media content with it. You can take phenomenal pictures. I've shot so many album covers for artists on this thing. It's not even funny. But that may be another live stream. We'll talk about video production, that kind of stuff. You're probably also starting to understand that I really enjoy this. Like I love video equipment. I love it. I own Red cameras. I own just about every Sony camera that is made that's out right now. I just love it. But it is so useful. And I hope that watching this today is going to give you a little insight. Okay, this is the upper end of the echelon. Okay, this is a completely different level. But I wanted to show you guys that. Now, let's talk about what I'm using right now. Because who would agree? Who thinks that the stream you're watching right now is probably more than likely higher quality than most everything out there? I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people stream. Even I watched Keith Urban's stream the other night, and it's like, mine looks better than his. So if you think this looks good, I'm going to tell you and show you exactly what it is that you have to be able to have your stream look just like this. Okay? Let's get started. All right, let's go back. Let's go back here. All right. Here is now this is a package. This is not the lens that I'm using right now. I'll show you the lens I'm using in just a minute. This is the camera that I'm using to live stream on right now. It's the Sony a6500. They're even now the a6400, which if it were me, listen very closely. Buy the a6400 instead of the a6500, and there is one very important reason why. The a6500 and almost every other DSLR camera out there has a time limit feature. It will cut off video recording or being on video mode, some after 5 minutes, some after 20 minutes, some after 30 minutes. It has to do with the import tax and the way that these cameras are manufactured and the way they are imported. So DSLRs have a very high tax on, video cameras have a very high tax on them. So a lot of these DSLRs, they have that time limit, record time limit on it, so that they can not be classified as a video camera, and it's cheaper. Okay, it's a cheaper import tax. However, on some cameras, that record time feature is gone. The a6400 does not have a record time. Actually, that's not true. It does have a record time, but it's, I think, 30 hours. If you have enough battery life, it will finally cut off recording at like 30 hours. But for what we do, what you would be doing, not a problem whatsoever. So you can go with the a6500 or the a6400. Now, I'm using the a6500 right now. I've got two other a6400s right back here. This is the a6500. It will not cut off using it as a webcam. It will not. I've got it hardwired. I've got it plugged in. I'm not even running off the battery right now, and it will not cut off. But if you want to use it to record, it does have a time limit, and it will cut off in the middle. I think it's 20 minutes. I've used it before for another camera angle on the podcast when I have a guest, and it is so frustrating because the a6400, the a6500 look exactly alike. So I picked up the a6400, and of course, my podcast was 45 minutes long, and it shut down at 20 minutes. So if you want to do both, if you want to record and you want to live stream, use it as a webcam, then get the a6400. The lens here, without going crazy on lenses, because guys, I'm here to tell you, in most cases, quality glass costs more than the camera. Seriously, that one right there, that lens is $2,500. The camera's $2,000. The lens is more expensive. But this right here is all you need. This is a 16 to 50 millimeter. When you are live streaming, you will never need more than 16 millimeter to 50 millimeter. Okay? The human eye sees pretty much in a range between 35 and 50 millimeter. Okay? The lens that I've got on this camera right now is a Sony Zeiss Prime 28 millimeter. And that camera right now is about 2.5 feet away from me. So everything that you're seeing right now, this is a 28 millimeter range. Well, let me do this. Let me go back here. Not the one, because I've got it cropped in on that screen. This is a 28 millimeter field of view. This is what you're going to see with a 28 millimeter. A 16 mil, and I'm going to say this because I know some of you don't know, and that's why we're doing this. 16 millimeter is going to give you a wider field of view. It's called a wide angle. If I had a 16 millimeter lens on this camera right now, you would see about 2.5, 3 feet more on each side of me right now than what you're seeing inside these little boxes over here. Yeah, right there. So a 16 millimeter to 50 millimeter is going to do great. I recommend to artists that really want to do this, get a 16 millimeter. And if you, depending on how you want it to frame up, how you want it to look, just back the camera up or move the camera closer. But a 16 millimeter is great for live streaming. All the way up to a 30 millimeter, Sigma makes a really great f1.4 lens. What is it? It's a 30 millimeter. Really good lens. I use it sometimes as well. I've got it right here. That's it's the Sigma 30 millimeter 1.4. Great lens. Really great lens. Another one that I've got is the Sony Zeiss f1.8 55 millimeter. 55 millimeter for live streaming is way too close. I mean, it would be like I would be right in your face at 55 millimeter. If you want to spend a little bit more money, this lens is about $900, but it is the best vlogging and live streaming lens, I think, out there. And this is the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter. Great, great, great lens. What this does when you have it all the way open at 10 millimeter, it does not give you the fisheye like you've seen on some wide angle lenses. And it really looks great. This is a great lens. I probably should be using it right now, but I thought my daughter was going to be filming a YouTube video today, and this is the one she normally uses. Otherwise, I'd be using it. But it looks really, really great. It's really crisp. And again, it's about $900. And I'm trying to think that really for, if you're going to use a DSLR, that's going to be your best way to go. Now, we've talked about cameras, we've talked about lenses, and now you've got to know how to turn your camera on and get that camera, get that live feed. Somebody's calling me. Get that live feed into your computer to be able to live stream. How do we do that? You're going to need a series of one or two things. The first thing you're going to need is, let's go here. Actually, let's go to that one first. You're going to need an Elgato Cam Link. Now, there are a lot of different companies. AverMedia makes these media cards and these capture cards. I have always had very good luck with Cam Link, with Elgato. This one right here is very simple. What you will need, if you get the camera I've told you to get, and you get any of the lenses or whatever, but the camera, what you're going to do is you're going to buy a micro HD to full-size HD cable. That micro HD card goes side of the cable. The micro side goes into your camera. The other end of that HD goes, as you can see, goes right here. It goes in the end, the regular end right there. This goes into the USB 3 or the blue USB on your computer. What this will do, the reason that I gave you, I like this, I do not like Canon cameras for live streaming. I gave you Sony because all of the Sony cameras come with what's called a clean HDMI out. That means it doesn't have the bars at the top or the bottom or any of the display information, none of that. It's a clean HDMI out. That means all it's doing is outputting a clean 4K to 1080p. It doesn't matter. And all of the cameras that I've talked about so far, the A6500, the A6400, they are all 4K cameras, but also do 1080p 720. They all do 24 frames a second, which is film, or they do 60 frames a second, which is what we're at right now, which is more live. Not as filmic, more live looking. I always call it the soap opera look or news network look. They are all capable of that. This will allow you to get the clean HDMI HD signal from that camera into your computer. Very simple to do. Again, if you're just using YouTube or you're just using Facebook, there are settings in there when you go to set up a live stream that will enable you to tell them to choose the Elgato Cam Link as your video input, and then you can still use your USB microphone. So you're going to have really good quality video and really good quality audio as well. Very simple to set up. Now I'm going to show you what I've got. And it is also a product from Elgato. I have two of these 4K 60 Pro internal capture cards. So this will not work with a Mac. Okay, this is a PC thing only here. Unless you had I'm not even going to get into that. Will it work with a Mac? Yes, it will work with a Mac, but it requires you to have another piece of equipment that we're not going to get into. So if you are on a Windows machine, a PC, I've got 2 of these installed in my machine right over here. That allows me to have multiple camera angles, or even if I've got another laptop or something else set up that I want to share that screen, then I can come out of that laptop and into the video in on that, and I can have that as a separate source. You will also, Cameron, very good point. You'll also need to download the 4K capture utility software with any of the Elgato stuff. Very simple to install. But I've got 2 of these. Right now, my setup, I've got the Sony a6500 with that micro HD cable coming out into and going all the way down to full-size HDMI and plugged in directly into one of these Elgato 4K 60 Pro capture cards. So it's plugged straight into my computer and it's going straight there. There's nothing in between the two. And then I tell my software that I use, which is vMix, which we'll talk about that in a second. I tell it to use that as an input. That's one input. My microphone is a separate input. So you just set all of that up, and it's very simple, and it gives you very high quality. There again, this is the upper end. What are these? These are $245 a piece. You only need one of them, but this is really for somebody that's using a desktop or a tower, okay? You've got to have the open card space to be able to put this in your computer. 99.9999% of you are going to be 100% okay with a cam link. It's going to do the same function. And see, this one, back, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago when I started all this, they weren't even, I think 720p was the highest you could get. Now the cam link is all the way up to 4K. So this partnered with any DSLR. That, again, let me preface this again. If you need to write this down, write it down, because it's very important, because if you don't, you're going to get very, very, very disappointed very quickly. The camera that you choose has to have a clean HDMI output. That's why I recommend Sony and Sony only, because I know every Sony camera gives you a clean HDMI out. Very, very important. Most of the Blackmagic cameras do as well. Canon is not good for live streaming, and I can take crap from Canon users all day long, but they're not good. I just don't like. They're great for other things, but I do not like them for dual purpose. People that want to use them for photo, video, and live stream. Stick with Sony. You're going to be much, much, much better off. Okay. Now we've talked that we've accomplished video. We've gone over the camera. We've gone over the different kind of lenses. We've gone over the equipment that you would need to get the video signal from your camera into your computer. Now, let me say this. If you're using this cam link, okay, remember this. It doesn't matter if you're using a laptop. It doesn't matter if you're using a desktop. None of that matters. That's just going to plug straight into the USB 3 plug input on your laptop, desktop, whatever. It doesn't matter. So it will work with whatever you've got. It will work with a Mac. It'll work with a Windows. It'll work with just about anything. I've not run across anything that it won't work. I even saw one guy come up with a rig to make this work on his iPad. And that was really cool. The new iPads that just came out, they're phenomenal as well. So there's a lot of little different things that you can pick and choose. Okay, we've gone over all that. I'm not ignoring you guys over here that are typing in questions and comments. I promise you when we get through this and we get to the end, I'm going to address every single one of them. Now let's talk about audio. Because like I said at the top of this thing, audio is very, very, very important. Let's start with what I use. And this is recent. I just got this, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, 5 months ago, maybe. I will show you exactly what I was using before. But this is what I am using now, and it is the TC Helicon Go XLR 4-channel USB streaming mixer with voice effects, sampler, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's even got things like that. So if I want to say mother, I can do that. If I want to say this live stream is just a bunch of I can do that. So it's got a lot of that, but it's got an auto tuner built in. It's got robot. It's got all kinds of cool effects that you may or may not want to use while you're live streaming. I think, and Cam could tell me for sure, because I've not really dive deep into this thing, but it might have reverb on it as well. I think it does. Oh yeah, it does have reverb on it. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So let's say you're an artist and you want to set up and you want to sing and play. You want to give your microphone a little reverb, you can give your microphone a little reverb. Very simple to do. All you do is dial it in. So, I mean, you can do all kinds of very cool things with the Go XLR. Okay, so very cool. So let's say you just want some reverb. You can put some reverb in there. If I had my guitar, I'd show you how good it sounds, but I don't have my guitar in here. But you can change the levels. You can change all of that. So you see what I'm saying? Even your pitch, you can do pitch change. I can make myself sound like a chipmunk. I can do anything
and everything that I really want to do. I can freak people out with this kind of voice right here.
Or I can just be normal. So very fun. Live streaming can be fun. Who thinks that's fun? That's fun. But this is what I'm using. The microphone that I use is a Shure SM7B. The absolute, hands down, best broadcasting microphone ever made. A lot of people argue with me and say, no, the UE Electro Voice RE20 is the best. I've got one. I've got three, to be exact, and it is not. This, the Shure SM7B, it's $400. Did I save a thing for that? I didn't save a thing for it. This is, if you want to really go all out, this is the microphone that you want. I want to tell you something about this microphone right here. Let me get off of this page because I want you to be able to see it, and I want you to be able to see it very good. Not this microphone. Let me preface that before somebody makes an idiot-ass comment in the comments. Not this specific microphone, but this microphone, the Shure SM7B. Michael Jackson did every vocal on the Thriller album through this microphone. Again, not this microphone, but a Shure SM7B. I cannot tell you the number of records that I've produced that the main lead vocals and background vocals ended up when I have $25,000 microphones in another room over here in my mic closet. We've used this. Literally this microphone. The one I'm talking into right now. I have used this on so many platinum selling records on vocals, I can't even tell you. It's amazing. I've retired it, and now I use it for my podcast. I use it for this live stream. I use it for gaming. I use it for everything, but I bought 4 more, and now my podcast studio, we haven't been in there in a while because of the quarantine, but the podcast studio, my mic in there, as well as every mic for every guest, is a Shure SM7B. That's how much I believe in them. So if you really want to go this route, Shure SM7B. Now, if you don't want to spend that much, you can plug any microphone into the back of this Go XLR. I've got a Shure shotgun mic right back there that I could plug into this thing, and it's going to sound great. You got a Shure SM57. It's going to sound fine. You've got, what is it, the 58 Beta, like a live microphone. It's going to sound fine. Again, you can add a little bit of reverb, a little bit of echo, a little bit of pitch, and it's going to sound great. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to go to this level. Get what's going to work for you. Many of you, if you're artist or whatever, you've got those 57s or 58s, the betas lying around, because that you may have your own PA system. If you do, any of those microphones are going to be fine. The limit here is that this is a limited, as far as if you were an artist and you wanted to have 2 or 3 people performing at the same time. Even though this is a 4-channel, it is 4-channel, but it doesn't mean that. I'm not going to go into all that because when you connect it via USB, you can add different inputs and outputs. There is line in, line out. But let me show you what I used to use. Oh yeah, I do have it over there. If you are an artist, or anybody really, this will get you just as good. This has a lot of different features and flavors that I love. But you can also do something a little more traditional, and this is what I used for 2 years. Let me show you this. This is a very dirty, I don't know if you can see that because it's, since I got the Go XLR, it's not been touched. This is the Mackie Pro FX, what is this one? 8. This one is going to go live at James Otto's house. I don't know if he knows that yet. But this is a great option. Many of you guys that are artists, songwriters, producers, you guys are familiar with more traditional mixing and more traditional mixers. The cool thing about this is it is a USB interface as well. So if you want to plug your microphone in here, you want to plug your guitar in here and maybe a keyboard in over here, you're going to switch between playing keyboard, playing guitar, or you want 4 microphones and a guitar, you can have all that. Plus, it has all the effects built in. It's got the reverb. You can bus the different amounts of reverb, whatever effects, delay. You can go. Many of you have seen the small setups around, like with the Bose systems and things like that. It's got the stereographic EQ. Anything you want to do here, you can make it sound amazing. Then all you do is plug this USB into your computer, and whatever it sounds like in the headphones in the monitoring section here is what it's going to sound like to your live stream, to your viewers. It can sound like a concert that you paid $300 to get into. And I don't know how much that is exactly, but it's not expensive. Cam, or if somebody, y'all want to put the price in the comment section, do. Johnny says, yeah, he's got the Pro FX12, the version 2. These are phenomenal ways for you to start live streaming at the utmost quality, because quality does matter. So we've looked at a lot of different options here, and some of it is very expensive. Some of it is not that expensive. The thing that you really need to decide here is what's best for me. What can I afford to do? What can I afford to start out with? What do I want to get to grow with? I always tell people, get a little bit more than what you need right now. Because, back 2.5 years ago, when I started this, I already had 4K cameras, but streaming wasn't there. Now we're a couple years closer. 4K streaming is going to be here before long. So if you're really wanting to take a step up, make sure you get the 4K camera. It doesn't have to be one of the Sony A64, A65, A6600s, or the A7S3 or the A7 III. Doesn't have to be that. You can do the Logitech Brio camera that we talked about. That's going to be 4K. That's one way of spending just a little bit extra money, but also future-proofing yourself with great quality. Now, when it comes to having the mixers or things like this, also keep in mind to use, and no matter what kind of business that you're in or you're operating. I mentioned today in my live stream that if I were a real estate agent and I had a buyer's list, I would be going, especially if houses were empty. Like if I had houses where people had already moved out and they are on the market, I would be scheduling a live stream from those properties every single day. I would have a laptop, a mobile camera set up on the other end of that laptop and carrying it around and walking people and potential buyers through each house and talking about the different features. Just because what's going on right now should not slow down your business. It should not slow down the growth of your audience or the growth or the potential of the reach of your fans and or customers. It doesn't matter what business you're in. I don't care if you make soap at home. Set up a camera and start talking about how great your soap is. Show how you make it. Bring people in. What we're doing right now is not only the future, it is the now. For people that want to really grow your business and take this seriously, you will get in the now and start this right now. So I told you that I would show you my setup. Now, guys, before we do this, you have to understand this little camera here, me and this little camera have been through rounds and rounds and rounds together. But it's a little, I think I paid $30 for this camera. And I only picked it up because we were going to the beach for a week or a week and a half, and I wanted to be able to game. I wanted to be able to stream and game and everything. And I forgot my camera, so we ran to Target when we got down to Orange Beach, Alabama, and I picked this thing up, and it was real cheap. Let me show you. I told you I would show you my setup, so I'm going to do that. Keep in mind, it's dirty in here. Not dirty. It's just I'm completely disorganized. I'm disorganized chaos. Let me just put it that way. But I know where everything is. Everybody's going to look, go, that's out of place. That doesn't belong there. Well, it belongs there for me. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to show you. Here we've got this little camera. This is a Logitech. I don't even know. I can't even see what this is. This is a Logitech something. It's only 720p. So it's really not even high definition. Can you see the difference there? Look at that. Look at the difference of that. Wow. Little bit different, right? All right, so I told you I'm using the Go XLR. So there's my Go XLR. Very simple to use. We're going to talk about software. Yes, we are going to talk about software in just a few minutes, and that's where this will come in. That is a stream deck, so that I can set this up to switch scenes and fire different elements, anything that I want to go on during my live stream. For those of you that are familiar at all with television production, this is basically a switcher. This is a television switcher. All right, let me see if I can do this. We're going to have to go through a thing of wires here. But anyway, maybe you can get down there. You can see there's my two Elgato 4K 60 Pro capture cards. You can see the cable going into that is the other end of the micro HDMI to full-size HDMI right there. That is going up to this camera right there. You can see two cables coming out of the other end of that camera. One is the micro HDMI to full-size HDMI. The other is the power cable that just goes straight down there somewhere. I don't even know if I can see it. That's a complete mess back there. That just goes straight down to the power cable that comes with the Sony a6500 plugged straight in. That over there, that's my Hughes lights and my router. Okay, so we'll talk about monitors here. I'm going to have to scoot back. I don't know if... that's not very long. I've got one 26-inch monitor. Y'all can see my system right there. That's vMix. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So that's what I'm looking at right now. And that has all of my different controls, all of my inputs, all of my outputs to be able to do crazy cool little things. Then over here, I've got another big monitor. I don't remember what that's. I think it's a 36-inch. No, it's a 40-inch monitor over there on that side, and then I've got another one that matches it that's over there on that side. It's that screen right there that we were looking at just a minute ago. And most importantly, we've got the Diet Dr. Pepper and we've got the Starbucks, because both of those things are essential to a successful live stream. They allow you to continue going. So you can't do live streaming without Starbucks and Diet Dr. Pepper. And I'm more than willing for Dr. Pepper to send me cases and cases and cases of it for free for saying that. Then let's see, you can turn around. I was showing you this camera earlier. That's the Sony A7 III with the Sony G Master 24-70. Another 70-inch TV on the wall monitor, and that's the recording studio end back there. That Marshall is not an amp; it is a refrigerator. And so you can kind of see around the rest of that right there is a touch of my camera equipment. I'm telling you, it's a drug. It's absolutely horrible. And I don't know what's going on over here. What do we got over here? We got, that's the Black Star amp that I love. My Control 88. Absolutely love that. So you can kind of see, what's going on, what I've got going on with my system. Again, we were going to talk about software. When you get into the part where you are going to get to this level, let's just say that, you are going to need to have live streaming software. There are a couple different ways that you can go. I'm going to show you two that you can go with. I used this for a very, 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 very long time. This is OBS, Open Broadcaster Software. And millions of gamers, guys that stream that have 50,000 people at a time watching them play games, or millions even for that matter, are using OBS, Open Broadcaster software. This is absolutely free. It's free for Windows, Mac OS 10.12, and Linux users. It's free. I could do an entire live stream on how to set up OBS. I'm going to tell you the easiest thing for you to do and way for you to think about it and do it is to get lost in it, is to download it, start setting up your scenes and your sources. Basically, let me walk you through this real quick. You can set up a scene that has multiple inputs on it. So you can have your camera, your audio input would be your microphone or whatever. If you're using one of these mixers, that would automatically be your audio input. You can set up overlays and all kinds of cool little stuff like that. Because I don't know, let's see, I've got, I can fire off like my little nameplate like that. You can set that up to where it will automatically do that. All kinds of cool stuff that you can do. Get lost in OBS. It's absolutely free. I used it up until 2 weeks ago. So anytime you guys have watched me live stream up until 2 weeks ago, I was using OBS. I have found that if you want to record, it starts to get a little tricky. I didn't like it for recording. But if we're talking about live streaming, we're not talking about recording. However, side note, all of you that are talking about live streaming should be recording your live streams and then putting it up on YouTube, right? There's no sense to let a live stream go to waste. Even Facebook and YouTube natively, there's a step in YouTube to tell it to enable DVR, which will automatically record your live streams and then make them available at a later date. So very important thing to do. OBS is free. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're just getting started and that's what you want to use, go download it, play with it. Most importantly, the thing here is to find what works for you. OBS may work fine for you and you may never need to leave it or go with another software, anything else. That may be great for you. For me, I needed something else. So let me see if I can go here. I went with vMix. This is what I'm using now. vMix, I have found, is a steep learning curve, a little bit, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It enables me to put in all my different inputs, everything else that I want to put in, my overlays. It allows me to set them up as separate inputs. OBS does as well, but I like the dashboard. I like the layout. The vMix is honestly, it is a television switcher. That's what it's used for. With my podcast, they have what's called vMix Call. So if I want to do an interview, check this out. If I want to do an interview, all I have to do is send the person I'm interviewing a link. And when they click that link, it automatically brings in their camera and their microphone straight into vMix, and I can do the interview. It's really, really amazing. I love it. It is, however, let's see if I can find out where it is. It is not cheap. I will give them that, but they do give you a 60-day free trial. Here are some of the different options. If you just want to do basic HD 1920 by 1080, which is 99.9% of you right now, it's $60. I'm using vMix Pro right now, and I'm currently on the 60-day trial, but I'm going to buy it when it's up, and I'm going to buy the Pro side of it. I don't know. I might do the 4K side of it. But I am getting used to some of the features like the GT Designer, the Graphics Designer, the playlist feature, being able to record to multiple different places at one time. It really is amazing. Look at that, the different overlays, like with just the basic, you can only have one overlay. And you may say, okay, Steve, well, what's an overlay? That is an overlay. When I hit that, that's an overlay. Or when I hit my name tag, that is an overlay. With the basic version, you can only have one of those. With the Pro version, you can have up to 4. So you can have something scrolling across the bottom, all kinds of different really cool stuff. Like, let me see if this will even work. Let me go back there. Bring that over here. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. So I will send that there. No, I forgot to connect it. I didn't connect it too. But when it comes to software, the two that I would consider and I would think about the most would definitely be OBS or vMix. Now, OBS comes in different flavors, and let me explain this. There is Streamlabs OBS, there is Stream Elements OBS, OBS Live. You can go check any of those places out. You can go to streamlabs.com, streamelements.com. Some of those do different things. They basically what they do is they integrate with Streamlabs or Stream Elements. Go get lost in Streamlabs or Stream Elements. I could talk for 3 hours on what those companies provide, but they provide the bots that will do answering questions and putting out messages in your chat. They have all of the overlay presets to where if somebody does a super chat on YouTube or they donate to your stream or whatever, all the little stuff pops up and does all that. Matter of fact, let me see if I've even got it. Maybe I can show y'all. Let me see something here. I'll connect mine and see. I don't know if I've got it. I think I've got the plugin set, but I'm not sure. Like if I go to my alert box and like I want to, let me test a super chat here to see if it shows up. So it'll do things like that. To where when somebody does me a super chat, I've got my little guy that pops up there. If it's, let's see, a donation pops up, the little dollar bill pops up. Streamlabs and Stream Elements will allow you to be able to do all kinds of cool little graphic overlays and things like that. So it's very cool. I mean, a lot of different things, a lot of different ways and elements for you to really be able to have a live stream that engages an audience. vMix allows you to do some of this natively, but I am so familiar at this point with Stream Elements and Streamlabs that I can add it as a browser source into vMix as an input, and that allows me to be able to do that kind of stuff right there. And then I can use either my Elgato Stream Deck, or I can use my keyboard to set up shortcuts to be able to do that. So if I've got that browser thing open and I fire it off, then it will show on my screen just like that. So a lot of different ways and a lot of different things that you can do to make your live stream more engaging, to engage people that are watching. And there are some really cool third-party plugins that you can use as well that really make a live stream interesting. But I have to say, after using vMix for the last 2 weeks that I have really come to appreciate and really come to like vMix a lot. Lights. Okay, let's talk about lights here for a second. Lighting is important. When it comes to video, lighting is of the utmost importance. All right, let me see. We're going to have to use this might hurt your eyes just a little bit. If it does, I apologize. But let's go back to this camera right here. All right, you guys want to know, this is the light that I'm using right here. And I don't think it is... What this is an Aperture 120D light, and it is on a light stand over there. Let me see. It's not long enough for me to take it around there and show you guys. But I have 3 of these. I have the 320, and I've got 2 of the 120D lights. And that's what you can see is really providing this is the look that I like. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, you should have a fill light over there. I don't want it. This is the mood I like. But I can crank this thing way up and I can see where it's starting to overexpose. But I can crank it way up. I can make it as bright as I want to make it. But where you want your lighting to be is where you're not really seeing those, just past those reflections. Like right in there is really good. The other thing that I also use, which let me do this. I'll do both things at the same time here. Let me see. Yes, read my face. I have here in the studio, I have Hughes light bulbs and recessed lighting all throughout the studio. So let's see here. Let me go back to this camera. And you guys can see that I've got these all throughout the studio. Back down there as well. And what's cool about these is that I can use the app on my phone and I can change this lighting to anything I want. Let's say I want it really, 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 really bright. Then I would change it to like energize. See how it changes the mood in the room? I can change it to a setting called read. So it even changes the color temperature just a little bit. We can go all the way purple if we want. I tell you what, let me do this. This is even going to be better. There, let me turn that one off. Let's see, let's go red. So we can go all red in the studio. We can go all purple in the studio. We can just dim the lights if we want. We can go all blue. I've got one set up called Joker because I'm such a big Batman fan. We can go all purple and green. And so it offers a lot of different options for what you want. And then, of course, those back there at the back, those are 100-watt LED panels that I have at the back of the studio there. So you can even see how lighting, we kick this back on, you can see how even lighting can help set the stage and the mood for what it is that you are wanting to do. And I don't like that in the studio at all. Let's go back to blue. There. You can have it set however you want it set. Like that's a little bit bright. So we can come back down a little bit. So I know that we've covered a lot. I know we've talked about a lot. This is, when you start getting into this, it is a very slippery slope because I really enjoy all this stuff. I love buying the equipment. I love talking about the equipment. I love looking at it and dissecting it and really finding out exactly what's going to work for me. But there are many different options. And again, I want to say, and what the most important thing that I want to get across to you guys today is that you have to start. If you're just going to use your cell phone, use your cell phone. If you want to move up and get one of these little Rode SC6Ls to where you can plug this in the bottom of your iPhone and have two inputs and a headphone output, maybe step up the game a little bit. If you want to step up to a webcam, or you want to go full on with a DSLR and a USB microphone, or you want to get a mixer like one of the Mackies or any USB mixer. The Behringer makes some that are a little bit less expensive than Mackie products, or the Go XLR, or anything where you want to be able to maybe plug in a professional microphone, plug in a guitar or a keyboard, and then have that audio professionally sounding audio transmit through to your live stream. You can do that as well. You can mix and match so many of these different elements to create what it is that you want to do, to create high quality live streams that translate, that get your message out there, but most importantly, that allow you to continue to build a great relationship with your existing fans and customers and audience, and even more so to potential customers, fans, and members of your audience. Guys, a year ago, this used to be the way of the future. I'm telling you, as we sit here today, it is the way of today. I don't care if you're in the music business. I don't care if you sell shoes. I don't care if you're in the investment banking business or the real estate business or the pizza business or anything else. The people that will not latch on to this and adapt to this technology will be gone and forgotten in a matter of years, in the short term. With what we're going through right now with the coronavirus and everybody practicing social distancing and self-quarantining, this is the way that people are communicating. This is how people are getting their entertainment. This is how people are shopping for products and services. Make sure that you're there. Make sure that you're present. Make sure that you have great quality audio. Remember what I told you earlier. People will forgive poor video quality. They will not forgive poor audio quality. I know that the analytics, the numbers back that up with every bit of research that's ever been done, but I also know that straight from me. I know that when I'm watching somebody's live or I'm watching somebody's recorded video on YouTube and the audio is not great, I immediately turn off. I don't care if they're filming it with a Red camera and it's 8K. If the sound is horrible, I'm not going to watch the video. It's just plain and simple. That's the way that it is. That's the way that I am. I think most people are like me. So no matter what level you want to approach this at, you need to approach it immediately and start approaching it now, even if it's just starting with your phone or your iPad or the microphone and the camera on your laptop or your iPad or your tablet. The important thing is to start doing it now and start getting into a habit. I also want to say all of this to say, every bit of equipment that we've talked about today, from your phone all the way up to somebody's system like mine, all of this can be used to record videos to put on YouTube as well. This is not just about live streaming. So if you want to create great dynamic social media content for YouTube or Facebook or any other platform, all of this equipment is great for that too. And I think it goes right alongside with what we're talking about with live streaming. No matter if you're an entrepreneur in the music business, a realtor, doesn't matter. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you are going to be irrelevant in 5 years. If you don't have a live stream and a YouTube channel and those two things work in Congress with one another and you're pushing content out there every single day, you are going to be irrelevant. Because this right here is how people are going to consume goods and services. This is how people are going to find out about goods and services. So all of the equipment that we've talked about today can do both of those things. You can live stream with them. You can record with them. Right now, I'm recording this live stream so that at some point down the road, I may make a webinar out of it to where I can then use my email list to get more people on my email list. I can put some dollars behind some social media marketing and some advertising campaigns, and I can say, hey, I would love to teach you how to live stream like a pro. We're going to talk about software. We're going to talk about cameras, all the gear that you need to have a professional looking and sounding live stream. Click here. They will click there. They will give me their email address, and I will give them this webinar in exchange for their email address to build my email list. Email lists are more important now than ever. Forget your 25,000 Facebook followers. A follower on Facebook means nothing. Forget your 5,000, 10,000, 1 million followers on Instagram. They don't matter. The people that are on your email list, they matter. Because why? Less than 1% of people who are following you on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platform are actually engaging with you. And to help you with that, all of these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, they are delivering 3 to 5% of your content to people that choose to follow you. You've got to learn these algorithms when you get into a world of wanting to start to create content and really put some thought into it and really putting what you know out there. You want to make it quality, but you also have to make sure that when you're putting it out there that it is seen by other people. You have to understand and know how these algorithms work. But I will tell you that right now, all of the social media platforms are giving live streamers preferential treatment. They are delivering their live streams and posts about their live streams. They are pushing them way more than beyond their normal 5%. And I've heard some experts and even people that work at the platforms that it can be up to 45 to 50% that they are preferring live content. So if you're one of these people that wonders, God, I post something on Instagram, it doesn't get any likes, it doesn't get any comments, it does, because very few people who choose to follow you are seeing it. But if you start going live and you start doing live streams, they're going to start promoting that content. But then if you are a live streamer on the platform, using that because they prefer it, they're going to start pushing your other content out to more of your followers as well. So you kind of start to see how this becomes full circle, how the live streaming really helps in every area of your social media growth. And I hope everybody that even thinks it, maybe thinking it might be true, social media is everything. It is the television. This, I tell new artists this all the time. This right here is the radio. This right here is the television. This right here is the movie theater. It is the magazine. It is the blog. It is the newspaper. All of those outlets are dying, and going bankrupt because it's all available on this device right here. Forget methods of advertising and traditional methods. None of that stuff's going to work anymore. It's this. This is where people live. It's the first thing they check in the morning when they get up, and it's the last thing most people fall asleep with it in their hand. If you're not relevant on this device, you and your product or your company or your service is not relevant. And I don't even care if you think you're an established business right now. If you fail to recognize that and go heavy in on this device and the platforms that are found on this device, your product or service or company will not be relevant very long. It's becoming more so like that every single day. So I hope you guys learned something. Those of you that are still watching, if you have questions and you want to know anything about this live streaming thing, now would be a great time to put them in the comment section of whatever platform you're working on or you're watching on. I'm going to go back through some of these comments and see if I can get to some of them. Monier says, so true. I can book shows, but it stopped a lot of the shows I had a lineup. But I took this time as a reflection to really reach out to my fan base and create new material. That is a great way to look at it. That's exactly what you should be doing. Jessica says, thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for being here. Johnny Freeman says, we appreciate it. Johnny, thank you very much. Raw and Uncut Podcast. What's up? Man, what's up with you, man? Thank you for having me on your podcast the other night. I had an absolute blast. You guys go check out on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcast, the Raw and Uncut Podcast. Akeem's a great guy. I had a blast with him and Lynn, and it was just a lot of fun. Let's see here. Steve Baker says, such great information for artists live streaming. Thank you, Steve, and I'm sure you shared this out, and I appreciate it. If we have any artists watching, Steve owns a company called Visual Imaging Marketing, and what he does is promote music videos all over the world, and he is the best at it. I have used him for projects on some of the artists that I get hired to develop. I have used him. We're going to use him on the new Daniel Khalil project that we're working on, those videos. What Steve does is amazing. And you can find out more about his services. Go to visualimagingmarketing.com, I think is the website. Steve, if I'm wrong and you're still here, put that in the comment section so people can find you. Danielle, matter of fact, Danielle's watching, or she was watching 17 minutes and 3 seconds ago. You want to talk about talented. I've been producing records for 20 plus years, and I've produced some very, 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 very big records. I will go on record and tell you that I've never been more excited about a record than the record that Daniel Khalil and I are working on right now. Ever. It's going to be monumental, like landmark breaking stuff. We've written some amazing songs with amazing songwriters. We took them in the studio, and I've started producing them, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Y'all go follow Danielle on Instagram. The Danielle Khalil is where you can find her everywhere on Facebook and on Instagram. Some of you may recognize the last name. Both of her brothers, yes, they were NFL football players, Ryan and Matt Khalil. Amazing football players, amazing family. Let's see. Cameron says, Steve, the tax has actually expired, so the Sonys may be able to remove that. That's nice. We were talking about the import tax on the cameras, which is why they have the record time limit. Cam is saying that they've had that tax has actually expired, so maybe firmware updates are going to allow some of the other cameras like the A6500 to actually not have the record time limit. Jason Dove said, I've seen a couple of his videos working, some stuff at the house, and I'll pop back in later. Okay, I don't know what that was about. Let's see. Cameron says, I'm using a 35 millimeter Cine lens now. Great choice. Very great choice. Eric Love says, great stuff, Steve. Eric, thank you for being here. Let's see, I want to make sure that I get to anybody's comment that we need to. I see a lot of people on Facebook. Stephen Cohen Camp says, could I also use the Go XLR as a plugin for Pro Tools and Fruity Loops, or is it solely used for streaming? I wouldn't say that it's solely used for streaming. I would not use it for what you're talking about. I would not use it as an interface for Pro Tools or Fruity Loops or anything like that. You'd be much better served to do something like a machine, like an MK3, Micro 3. Or if you really want a great audio interface, I mean, the Apollo Twin is a great interface. Matter of fact, I mean, a lot of people have seen it, and I've been talking about it, but, you know, the new Billie Eilish record, won 11, 12 Grammys or something like that. Her brother Phineas did the entire record on an Apollo Twin. Post Malone, almost every song on Hollywood's Bleeding, the vocals, everything else was done through a Universal Audio Apollo Twin. So if you're looking for an audio interface, definitely check out the Universal Apollo line. A lot of people save a little bit of money, go with Focusrite, but I'm telling you, if you want something long-term, especially for recording studios, you definitely want to look at the Universal Apollo line. You can't do any better. Saves the processing power on your computer with built-in DSP plug-in processing. It's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. And I think right now they're $5.99, $6.99, something like that. It's unbelievable. You buy through, again, hashtag not a paid advertisement, but you buy it through Sweetwater. You get 2 or 3, 4 plugins for free, I think, which make it worth it for certain. So definitely check that out. Universal Apollo, their line of interfaces, and you can do there's the quad. They've got the Duo, the Twin X, the X6, the X8, the 8P, the 60. It goes on and on and on. But you really only need an Apollo Twin or Twin X. Either one of those will get you done fine. Plus, any of you guys, recording guys, artist guys that do have a small studio setup, you can use whatever interface that you've got as your audio interface for live streaming. So if you've got an Apollo, you can choose whatever system that you're going to use to select your Apollo or your Symphony or your Apogee product or your Focusrite, or any of those different interfaces can be selected and used as the audio input device, and still use those plugins and things like that to give you a great sound. Will it work with the SMK8? Okay, I need to look at and see what the SMK8 is. And it's not that. That's pulling up. Monier, if you're still in here, I'm drawing a blank as to what an SMK8 is, but I will. Oh, sure. Let me take a look at it. I will look it up right now while we're talking about it. Yes. I will also tell you, too, a lot of people, and this is huge misinformation. There's two sides to this. When it comes to this microphone right here, the SM7B, a lot of people tell you that you need a cloud lifter. I am not using a cloud lifter right now. This microphone is going straight into the Go XLR. It's got plenty of headroom, plenty of gain. You don't need it. For some recording interfaces, it has notoriously low gain. So as you start bumping up the gain on your preamp, it gets a little noisy. So if you're going to be using it in that term, then yes, you might want to buy a cloud lifter to go in between, come from the SM7B into the cloud lifter into your audio interface. But this right now, I'm actually having to back this thing down because it's so hot. I do not have a cloud lifter in between my interface, this Go XLR, and the SM7B. Oh, we got to that one. Let's see. E-Rock Entertainment Management. Steve, you rock, bruh. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I did get your message. I hope I responded to you on Instagram. Hope you got that. I get so many DMs on Instagram, guys. I try to get back to everybody. If you've messaged me on Instagram and I've not gotten back with you, I'm not ignoring you. I'm going through them and getting back to them, everybody, as soon as humanly possible. Let's see. Off topic, but what kind of monitors do you use? Do you mean for my studio back here or here on the computer? On the computer, I use a Logitech THX system. It's really awesome. I love it. But I think you're probably talking about back there at the studio. I'm a huge Focal fan. I think the transparency, they're not colored. So anything in the Focal line, I would highly recommend for studio monitors. Those are the 8-inch Focals back there now. I've ordered another pair that should be, well, who knows when they're going to be here now with all this other stuff. But I highly recommend Focal over Barefoot, over Yamaha, over anything else. The monitors that I have back here right now, I actually chose and bought them over a $15,000 pair of Barefoot audio because they sounded better. That's just truth. I'm not knocking Barefoot audio, but these sound better. Steve Baker did put his link there. It is visualimagemarketing.com for any of you artists that might be interested in having your music videos promoted to all of the different video outlets, the networks, plus also local playlists and countdown shows, stores like Macy's. If you ever walked into a restaurant or a store and they've got the music videos playing up there, Steve does all of that. So you might want to get with him. Danielle's still watching and she can't wait. I can't wait either. We got to get this coronavirus out of the way so we can get this record done. And then we got videos to shoot. And then we got Steve Bakers to hire. A lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. We've been going over an hour and a half now. I do have it set enabled for I started to say DNR. Why in the world am I thinking about a do not resuscitate order? That's a little freaky. I do have it set to DVR. So if at any point you want to go back, you want to watch what we've talked about, take a look at any of the equipment, listen to anything that I've talked about, you can go back both on Facebook and on YouTube at a later date and rewatch all of this and hopefully learn something. Most importantly, I hope that you have learned something. I hope that most importantly, you guys will start live streaming tonight. And if you do, make sure that you tag me so that I know, so that I can come check it out. If any of you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me through DMs on Instagram or Facebook, or hit me up through my website, thestevefreeman.com. I try to get back to you as soon as I can, but if you need specific help with live streaming, let me know. I'm here to help you. This is so important, and I hope every single one of you start doing it very soon, as in ASAP, as in today and tonight. And yes, Danielle, I'm talking about you. I'm still on you about this. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you got something. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to me should you need some more assistance or more help with it. I'm here for you. Like I said, last week, I can't tell you the number of established, very well-known artists that were reaching out to me going, how do I do this? Can I do this? Can you help? It's that important. Those guys are understanding the importance of live streaming and how to do it properly and how to have quality. It's very important. So, hope you learned something, put it into practice, and learn how to do this. I promise you, if you adapt it now, your audience, your fan base, your customer base is going to go up. Create a solid and engaging relationship, two-way relationship with your fans and your audience and your customers and your potential fans and audience. You cannot go wrong doing it. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I wish you all well. I wish you health and safety. It's time for me to go eat dinner, but we're going to do the best we can through all of this self-quarantining and social distancing, but at least we've got this, and I've had a pleasure and had a lot of blast and a lot of fun being with you guys today, and we will do it again very soon. Until then, I'll close out like I do every episode of my podcast, which is available everywhere you get your podcast every Tuesday and Friday. The Steve Freeman Podcast. It's on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, radio.com, Spotify, everywhere. Please go check it out. Guys, keep being creative, keep pressing the boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with being independent. I'll see you next time.
That they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights writes that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When any form